Hey everyone, thanks for clicking on this video. My name is Deonna. I make videos about parenthood, being a business owner, and the lifestyle that comes with. Today's video, I want to tell you about how I got pregnant while breastfeeding. First, I want to start off with a few disclaimers. One, obviously this is not medical advice. Also, I didn't seek medical advice. I really just listened to my body and did a bunch of trial and error. The second disclaimer is the way I breastfeed, I guess it's called like breastfeeding on demand. So whenever Milena wants to nurse, I just put her on the boob. I didn't give her formula, and I did try pumping, but it was too much on my mental health to pump and store and clean everything. So stopped doing that, and I was just breastfeeding on demand, and I still do currently. The third disclaimer is I don't have any hormonal issues, so I wasn't diagnosed with anything. I did get tested for everything, like because I have a heavy flow, but I don't have any hormonal issues. This video is just going to be telling you what I did that worked. At the end of the video, I'm also going to tell you what I did that did not work and gave me a false pregnancy test, and it was just the worst thing in the world. So here's what I did. Now that I am well into my second trimester, I'm almost in my third trimester, honestly, I feel comfortable enough to share everything that I did, and I really hope this helps somebody, because these videos helped me a lot when I was on the journey of just being frustrated, wanting to be pregnant, and not being able to be pregnant. So I was like, what's going on? Milena is was my first pregnancy and is my first baby. This baby is my second pregnancy and will be my second baby. Let's get into it. First thing I did, I got a journal, and I did do the ovulation test kits. At first I didn't want to do those just because like seeing a negative every single day until the day you ovulate was like also mentally taxing, but I eventually was like, I need to make sure that I'm ovulating, because I need to figure out like if I'm not ovulating, there's something wrong. But I was ovulating, so I just had to know exactly when. I also tracked on the period tracker app. I know there's a lot going on, people don't want to do that anymore, so definitely you can do the ovulation tester kits. So this is kind of what my book looks like. I wrote down the cycle day. I wrote down, well, my daughter, she was like playing with it, so it's like all over the place. But I wrote down the cycle day, I wrote down the date, and then I also wrote down just like what I'm doing differently so I can know, you know, when it's time to make this video and show you guys. If you've never taken these ovulation tester kits, what you do is pee in a little cup or whatever and dip it, and it's going to show you 2 lines every day, but you're looking for the first line to be darker than the second line. So I guess kind of on this one, that first one, if you can see, hopefully you were able to see that, but on the first one I was about to ovulate. So when it shows that you are ovulating, it's not like you don't ovulate until a couple of days later. So yeah, it doesn't tell you like, okay, today I got the positive ovulation test, today I ovulate. No, it's the next day or the day after. So just keep that in mind. The next thing that I did, and I also want to say that everything that I did, I wanted to not add more stress to the fact that I am not pregnant and I want to be pregnant. So I didn't want to add like doing a whole bunch of things that I normally just wouldn't do, or it just is putting too much on my everyday routine. So I only did things that I personally could incorporate without it giving me more stress, because I was already stressed. I was sad. I was like, why am I not pregnant? I started with some tea. Now, I was already familiar with raspberry leaf tea, because in pregnancy they tell you like you can take it during the 3rd trimester to help tone your uterus and get ready for birth. However, raspberry leaf tea also just tones your uterus in general. So like if you're trying to conceive, you can drink raspberry leaf tea and it will help tone your uterus to get ready for your pregnancy. So I was taking 2 cups of raspberry leaf tea, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. I really did try to take 1 in the middle of the day, like drink a cup of tea in the middle of the day, but again, that was just too much stress on me, so I was like, nah. The next tea that I incorporated with my raspberry leaf was ginger tea. Ginger just helps fight inflammation, and if you are inflamed in your uterus area, it's going to be difficult to hold a baby or hold a pregnancy or anything like that. So I was like, it can't really hurt. So I just did raspberry leaf tea and ginger tea in 1 cup. I only take 1 cup of ginger tea a day because excuse me, honestly, I don't really like ginger tea. And if it sounds like I'm out of breath, I told you guys I am almost in my 3rd trimester, so I am a little bit out of breath. The next thing that I did, I took maca every day. I'm going to try to put a picture of it on the screen because I don't have it anymore with me, but maca is a root, I believe, but it's in a powder form, and really honestly what everybody uses it for is fertility. It helps aid in fertility, and people have been using it for centuries. I got mine at Whole Foods, but I'm sure you can get it on Amazon too because they're affiliated with Whole Foods. So most people put it in their smoothies, but making a smoothie every day was not ideal, so I added it to one of my cups of tea. So the one I drank in the morning had raspberry leaf tea, it had ginger tea, and then it had maca in it, and I sweetened it with honey. Was it the best tasting tea? Absolutely not. It was not. I'm not going to even lie to you. It was not good. But I took that every morning, making sure, like that whole month that I conceived. So, like starting the first day of the month. So, I did not receive medical help with this, but when I took Milena to a holistic doctor, because her pediatrician is a holistic pediatrician, and she like helps the whole family. If you're familiar with like holistic doctors or anything, that's what she does. And in her welcome packet, it had like this thing, or said if you're trying to conceive, obviously not talking to the child, but the family part of it, you're trying to conceive and you're having issues, try the seeding method. And the seeding method is like taking a certain seed, like flaxseed or chia seed, for the first 2 weeks of your cycle, and then switching over to, I think, pumpkin seed the last 2 weeks of your cycle, and it helps regulate your hormones. So, like I told you, I don't have a hormonal imbalance. However, I was breastfeeding, and you're breastfeeding, your hormones be all over the place, just like with pregnancy. So I was like, it really can't hurt. So I did only do it for 2 weeks though, and I did ground flaxseed. I did 2 tablespoons of flaxseed in my food every day. And I found it easier to eat it in like spaghetti or beefaroni because I really couldn't taste it, but it has like, you can see it, so it makes your food look a little different. And I did that only for the first 2 weeks, like I said, so I didn't do the whole seeding method, but I incorporated flaxseed into my diet. So the next thing that I did, I finally weaned Milena at night. So I know that, I'm pretty sure that my body was just really sensitive to breastfeeding because we were breastfeeding so much because we were traveling a lot. We were literally just everywhere all the time, and we always had Milena with us. And I know that the only form of comfort maybe, or like security or safety, I don't know, that she had was breastfeeding. So she was breastfeeding all day long and all night long. We were still co-sleeping, and I wasn't getting any sleep, which I know is not the best for like trying to conceive. But also, my body just could not keep nursing. So I was like, okay, it's time for her to sleep on her own and be sleep trained. So I do have a whole video on how I sleep trained her. So if you want to check that out, I'll have it somewhere linked up top and definitely down below. But we did cut out a whole feeding, which was at night. It gave me like time for my body to rejuvenate. It also gave me some sleep, much needed sleep that I needed. So I think all those factors, as well as not breastfeeding, helped a lot with me being able to conceive. The last thing that I did to help me conceive was eating properly. So like I told you, I was breastfeeding. That's why this whole video is I breastfeed while I'm trying to conceive. But when you're breastfeeding, you lose at least 500 extra calories. So you're supposed to put those 500 extra calories back into your diet. And honestly, I wasn't even eating enough to be breastfeeding, let alone to be breastfeeding and pregnant. So my body was like, no, I'm not going to let you get pregnant until you start eating. So I made sure during this whole month that I finally got pregnant that I ate 3 full meals, and all the meals had vegetables and fruit, even breakfast. So like I put spinach in my eggs, like something like that. I would make sure that I got all of my meals. And I don't know if I don't really want to eat as much. Sometimes like if things are going on in my life, I'm like, I don't really have to eat. Like I'm fine. I don't feel hungry when I have a lot of things going on up here, you know? So when I'm trying to breastfeed, like I can still breastfeed, she's still fine. So I'm like, I'm good, everything's good, but I'm not pregnant. So clearly something's not good because I'm doing everything else right. Like, why am I not pregnant? So I made sure that I was fueling my body the way that my body wanted to be fueled. Oh, and one more thing. I also tried the viral Mucinex thing. You're supposed to take it like during that whole week of ovulation and then after your ovulation day. But like I told y'all, I didn't want to do anything that was like too much out of my routine. They said that you're supposed to take it like a cup, maybe like 15 minutes before intercourse, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I'm only going to do it like in the morning. So I took my vitamins and then I took the Mucinex all together, and it really messed me up. Like, I don't know if it's because of the brand of prenatals that I was taking mixed with the Mucinex, but either way, it was bad. So I really only took it for like 3 days before ovulation, and then I didn't take it again because I wasn't feeling well. And that's another thing I also took. I was already taking postnatal vitamins, but all the girlies on YouTube and all the research I was doing, everyone says, oh, I was taking prenatal vitamins. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll switch my postnatal back to a prenatal. But I take prenatals every day. I've been taking prenatals every day for like 2 years now because I've been pregnant and breastfeeding this whole time. So I was taking prenatal vitamins, and then I switched to postnatal, but now when I was trying to conceive again, I switched back to prenatal vitamins. And the brand that I use is Baby and Me Too. You can find them at some Targets, not all the Targets. Like the one around the corner from me, they don't sell it, but the one that's like 15 minutes from me, they sell it. So you have to like look it up before you go to Target for a Baby and Me Too brand. So that's the one I use because they have iron and copper, and your body needs copper to absorb all the iron. And I am one of those girlies that are iron deficient, so I need extra iron. That was a mouthful, but that was everything that I did to conceive while breastfeeding, and I'm still breastfeeding. Just, she now only breastfeeds 2 times. I try to keep it at 2 times a day, but sometimes Milana just is screaming, and I do it 3 times a day. But I try, and hopefully, one day she will wean off before the baby comes. But like I told you, I'm almost in the 3rd trimester, and I don't think that's going to be possible anytime soon. Oh, I did want to tell y'all some of the things that I did that did not work. Like, if you scour YouTube or scour the internet, everybody tells you that there is a baby at the bottom of every Geritol bottle. And Geritol, if you're not familiar, it's like an iron supplement, and you can get them at Walgreens. It's like a liquid iron vitamin. It does not taste good at all. And I did use it twice, okay? The first time I used it, it did bring back my period, because I was trying to get pregnant before I got my period, because everyone's like, it's possible to get pregnant, it's possible. It was not possible for me because I wasn't eating enough, but it wasn't possible for me. But I did take Geritol, and it brought back my period. All right, cool. So now, I'm trying everything, trying to get pregnant. It's now time. I was like, all right, I'm going to take Geritol again. And I took Geritol. At the end, I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive, okay? It was positive, so I was so happy. I'm like, yes, Geritol worked for me. And then I was feeling like my period's about to start. And that's not how I feel when I'm pregnant. Or at least that's not how I felt when I was pregnant with Milana. Like, not that my period's about to start. So I scheduled a doctor's appointment for the day my period was supposed to start. And of course, I get to the doctor's, and my period's there. I'm like, bro, can you still test me for a baby? And they're like, you sure you want us to do that? I'm like, yeah, test me. And of course, they did the blood test and the P test, and they both were negative. So I'm like, the Geritol played in my face, and those pregnancy tests played in my face. I don't know what happened. I don't know. But I had 2 positive pregnancy tests from the same box. I probably should have got another box, but I wasn't pregnant. I was very sad. I was like, here comes postpartum depression again. The other thing that I did that did not work, I read an article that you should spike your insulin when you want to get pregnant while breastfeeding, which meaning eat a bunch of cake and cookies. But I was like, excuse me. But I was like, nah, that's not really healthy. I don't really want to eat a bunch of cakes and cookies, but I can eat a lot of things that turn into sugar, like fruits, bread, things like that. So I was doing that, and that did not work at all. And I was stuffing my face, trying to eat and make sure I did it. I tried for 2 weeks straight, and that did not work at all. I did not get pregnant. Yeah, if you tried Geritol and it did not work for you, I feel you, girl, because it did not work for me either. And even though everyone says there's a baby at the end of every bottle, it was not. So I did all these things. and it helped me get pregnant while breastfeeding. So if you guys have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave it in the comments below. I'm definitely going to answer all of them. I'm really happy to be pregnant. I wish everybody who is wanting to be pregnant, pregnancy, and just to try not to stress that much. I mean, I stressed a lot, so I don't even know why I even said that, but you can try not to stress when you want to be pregnant, and I hope that, you know, you get that baby that you're wanting. So thank y'all so much for watching this video. While I'm out of breath and talking really fast, I'm sorry, but thank y'all, and I see you in our next video.